Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru.
Thal vich tin vastu. What is that thal? So what's the thal? Yes. So what's the thal? Did everybody hear that? This is like being at kids camp. Sare ne sunya si bachcho. Alright, so the thal is what? Guru Granth Sahib Ji Paatshah Ji. Alright, so the Bani that is contained, okay? So within the thal of Guru Sahib Ji's Bani, within the thal of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Paatshah Ji, we find what? What are the three things that are found in there? Sat, which is? Okay. So over here, are we translating this to the ultimate truth, which is Vaheguru Ji? When we say Ek Oankar Sat Naam, are we talking about that truth? What type of truth? Elaborate on this truth. So tell me something about truth. What type of truth are we going to find within Guru Sahib Ji's Bani?
Eternal truth.
Eternal truth, excellent, yes. Sorry? To be true, truthful?
Complete truth.
The complete truth, okay. Excellent. So now, let's break it down and make it a bit more practical for us, okay? So the first thing, Sat, let's translate this to truthful living. Everyone happy with that? Everyone confident and have faith that truthful living will be found within the thal of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, yes? Okay. What's next?
Santokh.
Santokh. What is Santokh?
Be content.
Alright. So what does it mean to be content? Because obviously we need to start thinking about these things, because sometimes we just throw these words in the air and we don't go deep. We don't go deep enough to like try and understand these things on a practical level. So what does it mean to be content?
To achieve that desireless state, so basically not go after Maya all the time, and
So what's Maya? Okay, so let's have some hands up now. So Maya is, so Virji saying that to be content, it means to be in that desireless state where we're not chasing after Maya. So what's Maya?
Anything that keeps you away from Maharaj.
Anything that keeps us away from Maharaj. Now let's put it in this context. So anything that keeps us away from truthful living. Okay? So does anybody know a pankti that can help back us up, that can explain that Maya is definitely described as something that keeps us away from Akal Purkh, that keeps us away from truth? Right, want a clue? It's from Anand Sahib Bani. So I'll start it off, you complete it, okay? Eh Maya Jit Har Visare. There we go. We've got one person that's very alert. Okay? So let's say that again. Eh Maya Jit Har Visare. What is Maya? Guru Sahib Ji saying Maya is that eh Maya Jit Har Visare. Something that makes me separate from Vaheguru Ji, something that makes me forget Vaheguru Ji, that is Maya, that is illusion. If something is reminding me and bringing me closer to Akal Purkh, then it's not a problem. If I've got the luxuries of the world to hand, but they're not breaking me away from truth, breaking me away from the ultimate truth, then it's not an issue. So you know how Penji was going through today, that everything is going to perish. Everything we see before our eyes is going to perish. So how, let's look at it again in a practical way. How is it going to perish? So that day we close our eyes to this world, apne vaste perish ho gaya na sara kuch. You know the mountains she was talking about, whether it be the sun, whatever it be, that day the breath comes out of our body, everything's perished for us. There's nothing left. Okay? So Sat, so within the thal of Guru Sahib Ji's Bani, when we go deep into Guru Sahib Ji's Bani, we find truthful living. And when we start living truthfully, what is that followed by? What comes after when we're living a life of truth, what will come with that? What follows?
You'll then be content.
Yes. See how they work? See how Guru Sahib Ji puts everything, the way Guru Sahib Ji puts things together, everything is thought out. It's so fine. Only through truthful living will we find contentment in our life, not without truthful living. And again, the best way for us to understand things is then use examples. Okay? So let's try and understand this through examples. So let's think about situations or things that wouldn't be truthful living. So when we're not living truthfully, and let's take it really basic, just certain actions that we might be doing in our life. First of all, let's look at like the example of Bhumia Chor. So Bhumia Chor, Guru Nanak Patsha Ji ended up at his house with Bhai Mardana Ji, and the way he lived his life was that he went out and he was obviously a chor. So he robbed people, he went and even during the day, or thagda bhi siga. So he'd like in daylight he'd rob people as well. But he justified it. The way he justified it was that he told himself that as long as I do good with this money that I have robbed people, so the money that I've accumulated from robbing people, because as long as I do good with it and I feed people, I feed travelers, I feed saints and sadhus, then it's all weighed out. So then I'm doing a pap, I'm doing a sin, but at the same hand I'm doing a pun. So then it all weighs out. Okay, so then I'm doing a good deed as well. So when Guru Nanak Patsha Ji ended up at his house, he felt so proud of himself that he's feeding people. And he thought this is a great thing to do. So when he prepared food for Guru Nanak Patsha Ji, he brings a beautiful thali out, this plate out of food to Guru Nanak Dev Ji, so excited for Guru Sahib Ji to eat. As he's bringing this food over, Guru Nanak Dev Ji looks him straight in the face, and Guru Sahib Ji says, "Kende Bhumia teri kirt kiya? Kende, what do you do for a living? How did you earn this food?" And Bhumia just stopped. Khada ho gaya uthe ekdam. He stopped and he's thinking, wow, all of this is going on in his mind now. He's thinking, nobody's asked me this before. He goes, sadhus come, he goes, these holy people come, he goes, but they don't care how I earn my food, how I earn all of this money. They just want somewhere to live, somewhere to spend a night, and some nice food to eat. And he's thinking, maybe this is the real McCoy. He's not like those fake ones that you find. And then he's thinking, well, if this ever comes up in conversation before, never do I have a thought in lying. He goes straight away, naturally, he goes, I'm just able to lie to them because I don't tell people that I rob people for a living. So he says, I don't know what's happening to me today. He goes, bol nahi nikalde pe. He goes, I'm not able to tell this being that's sitting in front of me that I'm not able to lie. Utte ruk gaya. Guru Nanak Dev Ji looked at him again and said, Teri kirat kiya? What do you do for a living? And he just burst out the truth. He says, God, I'm a chor because I rob people, because I'm a thief. Guru Nanak Dev Ji kende, wah pada kita. And he said, no, chor hai. Maharaj Ji kende, wah pada kita. He's telling Maharaj Ji that he's a thief, and Maharaj Ji is saying, well done, shabash. And he's thinking, Maharaj, are you hearing me right? I was scared. You're going to scold me and you're going to say that a thief, you're bringing this food to me. That's what you do for a living. You're saying, Wah pada kita, you've done good. What pada have I done? I'm a chor, how have I done pada, how have I done good? Guru Nanak Patsha kende tu pada kita, tu sach bolya. Can he just told the truth? Wouldn't that be a great place to start when we're talking about truthful living? Is to start off with just speaking the truth. Guru Sahib Ji then said to Maharaj Ji, will you still eat the food though? Guru Baba Ji said, Kende Bhumia, kende ma eh nahi main shak sakda. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ I can't eat this food. ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ but ਕਹਿੰਦਾ I do good with my money. I do all of that robbing just for these moments so I can feed people like you. ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਤੂੰ ਲੱਖਾਂ ਹੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੂੰ ਪੁੰਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਆ ਨਾ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦੇ ਖਿਲਾ ਕੇ ਸਾਧੂਆਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਹ ਤੇਰਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਹਦਾ ਭਾਰ ਉਹਦਾ ਵਜਨ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂਗਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਹ ਤੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਬੋਲ ਬੋਲਿਆ ਨਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੱਚ ਦਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਹਦਾ ਵਜਨ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੀ ਕੀਮਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੈ. Basically what Guru Baba Ji said there, Guru Nanak Dev Ji said to him was, they said all of that you've done, which is you've creating these karam meaning you're doing these good deeds, these good acts of feeding people, Guru Nanak Dev Ji said they weigh nothing. They said they weigh nothing because of what you do for a living. They said because that you can't say that weighs it out. They said think about the people that you're robbing and what they are going through. They said there's blood dripping through your food. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, to you that's beautiful food. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, I can hear the cries of people that you have robbed in that food. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, ask my ears. My ears can hear people that have been left with nothing at home. Those people that just had enough to get by in life, you took their food away from them and you're feeding me with that, with those cries, with that pain. You're going to make me eat the pain of people. He just froze. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, but I've just seen something amazing in you. You've got this amazing quality of speaking the truth. They said that weighs more than anything that you've done up until today. That's how much value Guru Nanak Dev Ji has for speaking the truth. Then Guru Sahib Ji said, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਭੂਮੀਆਂ ਤੂੰ ਚੋਰੀ ਛੱਡ ਸਕਦਾ? They asked him a question. They said, can you stop robbing people? And Pumya said he thought. He didn't answer straight away. He wasn't like, yeah, theek hai, main kar dunga, no problem. And then 4 days later, falls flat on his face. Because that's what a lot of us tend to do. Sorry, I don't mean to be negative. But he thought about this. He did something else that was amazing. He said, Guru Sahib Ji, he goes, I just thought about it. He goes, the truth is, he goes, I have made small attempts of giving up that way of life before. He goes, but I've not been able to do it. He goes, it's not going to be so easy. He goes, I'm going to have the effect now that you're in my presence, because I know what's going to happen to me. He goes, a week later, he goes, it's my blood now. He goes, my dad did it, my granddad did it. He goes, ਸਾਡਾ ਖਾਨਦਾਨ ਸਾਡੇ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਚੋਰੀਆਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਤਾਂ ਖੂਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਚੋਰੀ ਬੜੀ ਹੋਈ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਜ ਨਹੀਂ ਛੱਡ ਹੋਣੀ ਚੋਰੀ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ I'm not going to be able to give it up like this. So he said, look, at the moment, I know I'm not going to be able to live truthfully. Guru Nanak Dev Ji कहते वाह भला कीता. You've been realistic with yourself. And that's what we need to do. We need to set ourselves realistic goals. Not goals where tomorrow we're just going to fall flat on our face. We start getting up for Amrit at like 3 a.m. in the morning for like 1 week and then that's it and it's gone for 5 months. Because we just couldn't handle it. Wasn't going to work. It just wasn't practical. We're around certain people at work and stuff and we say, all right, theek hai, bas, no more gala from tomorrow. And we just know that, you know what, I've been swearing for the last 10, 15 years. It's become a habit. And the truth is, when I walk back into work tomorrow, is it really going to be that easy because it's become a habit? So it's about being realistic, setting ourselves realistic goals. So he was realistic and he self-analyzed himself where he's standing, where he is in his life. And Guru Sahib Ji tell us to do that every day. We're meant to do that with ourselves if we want to progress in life. Guru Sahib Ji says, Bande, khoj, dil, har roz, na fir paresani maahe. Guru Sahib Ji says, khoj, search deep inside. Find out for yourself where you're really standing. Be real with yourself. And sometimes we need somebody from the outside to bring that out of us. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the form of truth is standing there. So he's able to analyze himself. Sometimes we just need that little spark. Somebody just to say, have you ever looked inside? Or have you only looked outside? Or have you only looked at your next door neighbor? Have you only looked at what your partner is doing, what your wife is doing? तू तो बहुत ही कौड़ा बोलदी है जिद्दां तू बहुत ही मिठा बोलदा हुंदा है बस तू तो बस इदां ही तेनों टुट के ही बोलना हुंदा तू तो बहुत ही प्यार नाल बोलदा. So it's just the way we're built. It's so easy to do that. It's constantly just checking them. You know, we've got a checklist, up, fail, no, bas. And we forget to check ourselves. So it's like that story, innit? Je kende se jehde oh 10 jane kamle je ek kashti ch beh gaye. So there's like 10 fools that get on this boat and they have to get across somewhere. They've never travelled together before and they're all as bad as each other. So they all get on this boat and they're all been, somebody else has counted them and told them, you know, ख्याल रखियो जे किते दरिया विच बालियां जो उत्थे आ गईयां ना जे छलां आ गईयां, if the wind comes and there's a lot of waves and stuff and you feel the boat's just been rocked and stuff, like just be careful, make sure there's always 10 of you in this boat. So raat nu tureya, they're at night and they're going across this ocean, this water, and then so somebody's told them there's 10 of you in this boat and they're all the same as each other, their minds, they're all fools. And one of them, nera bahut ho gaya, it's gone pitch black, hawa aayi, the wind comes and the boats is rocked around everywhere, they've all held on to each other and stuff. And when the sun starts to rise and they think, one of them goes, dekhiye aapa sare hege bhi hain, should we just do a quick check? And you know how the story goes. So he starts counting and he's like, he goes, veere ek mar gaya, ek bas ek dig pe pani ch, 9 jab aapa 9 reh gaye hain. And he says, Sachi? He goes, nay. The other guy counts. And he's like, say, veere, bas, ek chadai kar gaya. 9 jane reh gaye hain. But obviously there weren't 10 jane, you see, there was always 10 of them because they just weren't counting themselves. And then so we forget about ourselves a lot of the time. We get so caught up in where everybody else is in their life and we forget to progress. So realistic goals. So he was like, Maharaj, the truth is, I'll probably give it a shot for about a week, but I know I'm just going to want to rub again because it's just, you know, I get a kick out of it, I get a rush out of it. And there's a lot of people, they do certain things in life, they do a lot of bad acts in life because it becomes this pleasure and a kick. I remember I led that life for many years, living on the edge. You know, just having to live a life with having to look over my shoulder because I had so many people after me that wanted to kill me. And I got myself into all sorts. And as much as I wanted to get myself out, but it became this rush. And you get high off it, living that type of life. So Maharaji goes, okay. So Maharaji, again, so the Guru needs to be able to do this as well. Obviously Guru Nanak can do it, but then we need to do that amongst each other as well. What did Guru Nanak Dev Ji do now? Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, let's work with what you've got. They said, you've got an amazing quality. And that's what we need to do with each other. We need to work and bring out people's qualities. If we can just learn to do that with each other, if we can strengthen people's qualities instead of bringing them down and saying, people come to the Gurdwara and say, La, you like this, you like that, and then they get put off coming again. But instead, if you're able to recognize, oh, they've got this, let's work with that. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, let's work with what you've got. And what did he have? What was the ability he had? That they just recognized? Speaking the truth. Guru Nanak Dev Ji kehde aidhan kar. If you're not able to walk the path of truth, do one thing for me. They said, use this tongue to recite the name of that Akal Purkh, of that creator that is the form of truth. So at the moment, that's all you need to do is recite the name of that Akal Purkh that is the form of truth. They said, but if you're going to say his name with this tongue, who is the form of truth, just don't lie with this tongue again. He said, I can do that. Because you've just shown me that I'm able to do that. So, Pumya Chor Sakhi is long. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji, within that, they gave him 2 other things to do. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, Kite kende kise da loon kha ke haram nahi karna. It's a very Punjabi saying and a Punjabi thing, like so. And what that actually means is when you've eaten from someone, meaning that when somebody's been there for you, have helped you out in some form of way, they says don't ever eat their soul, it's a saying, and then stab them in the back. He says, okay, I'll do that too. तो फिर तीसरी गल मार कहते किसे कहते गरीब ते मार नहीं करनी, कहते ना ही कहते किसे गरीब दी मार झल्लनी है. This is, and the third thing they said, Guru Nanak Dev Ji said to Pumya Chor was that you're never to see somebody that is meek, somebody that hasn't got power in this society, People that get bullied within this society, it says you're never to tolerate them being beaten, them being trodden on. He said, I can do that too. But you know what? So he's taken these three things, and so remember, we're still on Sat Santokh Vicharo. We're just talking about being realistic with ourselves, and how do we in our everyday life fall into the trap of not living truthfully, and why we're not finding contentment, which is followed by truthful living. And without truthful living, we cannot have contentment in our life. So he, when Guru Nanak Dev Ji left, he decided, he thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot anyway. I'm not going to do chori, I'm not going to rob anyone. A week later, he's on the shakes. So he's like, I need to rob someone. And then he gets up and he's thinking, all right, Guru Nanak Dev Ji says never tread upon somebody that is meek, that somebody that is poor. So they said, I can't. So he said, how am I going to know if somebody's struggling? If I just turn up at anybody's house and rob them, they might be poor. Then I'm going to go against Guru Nanak Patsha Ji. So he thought, you know what? Let me rob the king of this place, of this city. He goes, he's definitely not poor. He goes, and I know him because Pumia Chor was a landlord. He used to often go to the king, and because they used to work together, because Pumia was a landlord. So he thought, I know his palace, I know where things are, and I know how things work there. He goes, he goes, I'm going to have to dress up as I'm from the royal family, so the guard looks at me and thinks I'm just a part of their family. So he's all ready and set. So he's gone there now, and he's thinking, how do I get in? There's barriers are everywhere. It's like, I've never robbed a king before. Anybody else's house, you just go in through, like, you make a hole. Sun banaunde this is chori karan vaste agge. Sun hunda basically when you chisel out the bricks, and when everybody's asleep very quietly, because odo kachchiyan hundiyan si kanda, odo keda aj wangu pakkiyan hundiyan. So you just chisel out the bricks, and you would go and make a hole in people's houses, and it's called a sun. Just like Baba Buddha Ji made a sun, and there's today in San Sahib Gurdwara. So that's how we normally did it, but today he's faced a God, and he's thinking, the God's like, Hanji, kidhar? Kaun hai tusi? Tusi ki karna hai ithe? So the God's asked him all these questions. Who are you? What have you come here to do? Do you know the king? And he's thinking, as per our nature becomes, Asanka Kudeyar Kude Farai is about to lie and say, I've come to meet the king, that's what I'm dressed like. And he's thinking, and what's he got inside him now? Gur mere sang sada hai nalle. He's got the Guru beside him now. Gur ka bachan base ji nalle. He's got the Guru's bachan, the Guru's teaching, he's got inside of his heart now. Gur ka bachan base ji nalle. Jal nahi doobe. There's nothing in the world now that is going to take away Guru Nanak Patsha Ji's teaching from him. Even if the ocean comes and tries to drown that bachan from him, he's going to hold on to that bachan. Gur ka bachan base ji nalle. Jal nahi doobe. Taskar nahi leve. Pahe na sakya jalle. We'll go through that in a minute. So he goes, Veera, he goes, Sach eh. I goes, the truth is, he goes, I'm a chor, he goes, I'm a thief. He goes, I'm a thief and I've come here to rob the king. The God just froze, looked at him, and he burst out laughing. He goes, Acha, acha, theek hai, lang ja. He's a new God. And he's thinking, this guy is a good friend of the king's. No thief comes dressed in these beautiful clothes, looking like a royal person. He goes, I'm going to get told off by the king if I don't let one of his good friends in. He goes, all right, lang ja. He goes, go through. He goes, this is amazing. He goes, if you can follow the Guru and people are letting you into their palace to say, rob it. He goes, this is the path for me. He's got into the palace. He's like loving it. He gets everything together. Ek godri rakhi hundi si, godri hunda ek bag jiha. He's just putting everything into his bag. Everything's going well. The path is clear. He can leave. What happens? Lob gets greedy. Thinks, you know what? There's a safe here that I know of. Because I see the king go into it and I've come here. Because let me just get a little bit more. As he goes to get that, he finds a dabbi of churan. Churan is like that Indian salt that you use to for your digestive system. So he's thinking, he's got it and he's licked it, and it's got loon in it. It's got. And he remembered Guru Nanak Dev Ji's second bachan, which was loon kisi da kha ke haram nahi karna. You don't stab somebody in the back when you've eaten from their house. And he's thinking, I've just eaten from their house. I can't stab in the back now. And how difficult must it have been on the first episode to speak the truth? It's easier said than done. ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੌਖਾ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਕਹਿ ਦੂੰਗਾ we need to become like ਭੂਮੀਆਂ, but you know when that challenge comes in life we just think ਮਾੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਹੀ ਆ ਇੱਥੇ ਤਾਂ ਝੂਠ ਬੋਲ ਕੇ ਸਾਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ. We just like, you know what, let's just get by now by telling a little lie here. What's that lie going to do to us? What does asang kudeyar kude firahe mean? Firahe means to go round and round in what? In lies. Because what does one lie do? It leads you to another and another, and then you have to tell another one to get out of that one, and then out of that one. The next thing you know, in this mad whirlpool, and you're thinking, how do we get out of this? Sometimes we get ourselves in such position in situations in life. People think, I just want to end my life. I don't know how to get out of what I've created. How difficult must it have been for him at that moment? Because it's all about the moment, isn't it? It's easy when we're sitting in the Sangat, no one's challenging your anger. No one's challenging my anger. When I'm sitting on stage, everyone's like saying, "Wow, wow, Baljit Singh, amazing, amazing." But that moment's not so amazing when I'm at home and then my wife's told me like 3 times, go and pick this up, go and get this for the kids. And I'm just thinking, Mara je hud pad la ma. You know, and then about the 3rd time she's like, "Leona ke nahi?" And then that's called the moment. Appa kidda sambhalna ho? How are we going to handle it then? Because anger is inside us, but then it takes something outside to challenge it, to see how much we're in control of it. And it's in that moment then. And remember, the more somebody's been praised by the world, and when you're there in that moment, the more difficult it is for you to take somebody talking to you in that way. But we've created that anyway, to be spoken to in that way, because there's times where we need to be spoken in that to like that. Guru Sahib ji jai Guru chidke ta meetha lage. Guru Sahib ji needs to shout at us at times. Bhagat Kabir ji says, Kabir ji kende Kabir sukar te Kabir sakat te sukar pala. When Kabir ji has been raw here, Kabir ji go Kabir sakat te sukar pala. Sakat means a faithless person, somebody that brings other people down from their faith. Kabir ji goes sakat, there's somebody that is faithless. Kende Kabir sakat te sukar pala. Kabir ji kende even a pig is better than that person that is faithless in this world. A pig. You know why? This is a rakhe acha gao, because they said a pig will go around your little village and eat all the muck and eat all the mess. He said at least he's doing something good. He's cleaning up your village for you. He said, but a sakat, a faithless person, he's making a mess. He said, so that pig's better than that faithless person. So Guru Sahib Ji slaps us sometimes hard. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji says as well, Kene ek bhagat bhagwan je prani ke nahe man jaise sukar swan nanak mano tahe tan. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji says, if you haven't got that devotion for that one ek akal purkh Vaheguru Ji kende, then your body is just like the body of a dog or a pig. Because you haven't done what you was meant to do within this world. You've not followed the path of truth. Coming back to Pumiya Chor, so just those, it's about those moments. People say that, you know, well, I'm alright, man. When I'm alright, when I'm around Sangat. Because we're not challenged there. It's about when we're challenged. How are we in those moments? Are we asleep? Are we going to let ourselves get robbed? Senseless. We get agitated over these little things. Somebody just saying, our parents saying something to us. Happens to me all the time. I get challenged all the time. My dad loves asking questions. So like, I'm 35 now, but he'll still say, "Put kitthe aa? Kede naal aa? Kinne baje auna aa? Kaun kitthe kidda? Petrol le liya siga? Theek ya?" And I'm like, "Dad, please." And I'm thinking, all right, this is the moment. This is the moment. Just like Pumiya had his moment of how difficult it was to speak the truth. That's the moment for me when my dad's asking me 101 questions. All I have to say is, "Dad, Yes, I'll probably be back at this time, but my ego is like, why dad, why do you always have to ask me these questions? And then I think, oh my God, I failed. All I had to say was, it would have taken 2 minutes just to answer what he was asking. It was so simple. The moment, sambalana, us moment no. So Pumia Chor, imagine if you've got a bag full of goods and you're having to leave it behind. He's walked away. The king's come back and he's thinking, somebody tried to rob me. Why is there a bag full of stuff? He speaks to the guard, he goes, yes, somebody came saying I'm a thief. He goes, oh my God, he goes, somebody tried to rob me. He goes, why has he left this bag behind? He goes, I want you to find out who's left this bag behind. He goes, he gets all his people together, all his alkar, all these people that his guards and everything, his servants. He goes, go and find. He goes, it must be somebody really poor and meek that needs the money. He goes, go round. He goes, go and grab these people, and if you need be, he goes, torture them, beat them, and make them admit and say who it was. So these guards are going around, these servants are going around and beating people and looting people and trying to torture them to get out who's done this. And Pumya Chor finds out. Pumya Chor finds out that these meek people, these poor people are being beaten because of me. So what does Pumya do now? Remember, he's got away with it. He's free. He doesn't have to go back. He goes back to the king. Why? Guru Nanak Dev Ji's tija, third bachan. He didn't have to earn what Guru Nanak said, but something hit him. Just like Bhagat Kabir ji says, Kabir Satgur Sur mein bahya banjo ek, lagit hi poe gir parya para kaleje sheikh. Just like Kabir ji says, that moment the Guru struck an arrow of his teachings at me, it just went straight through my heart and I just fell to the ground. My ego just shattered into pieces. That's exactly what happened to Pumya Chor. Guru Nanak just shattered his ego of following his mind. He went back to the king. He goes, it was me. He goes, are you mad? He goes, why have you come and owned up? You know that I'm going to punish you. This moment, for me, is the most amazing, one of the most amazing parts out of the Sakhi. And don't think, this isn't thanks to me that I found all these jewels within this one story. I've read this story written by Dr. Veer Singh ji. Bhai Veer Singh, the way he's written this story is just mind-blowing. There's some historians that have written this story in half a page. Dr. Veer Singh's taken about 12 pages to write this one story. And it's mind-blowing. Pumya Chor said, he said, don't give me the credit. He goes, the only one reason that I stand before you today is because I met a true Guru. He said, a Guru that struck an arrow and went right through my heart. And the king says, this Guru must be amazing. He said, who's this? What's this Guru's name? He said, Guru Nanak. And I said last week as well, when Gursikhs, a few weeks ago, when Gursikhs used to just say Guru Sahib's name, they would just be in awe. And they just couldn't speak. And he said, Guru Nanak. And the king said, Guru Nanak. He said, you've made me forget everything. He goes, Tan, blessed is your Guru. He goes, blessed is the Sikh of that Guru that has listened to every word that has been given to him. He goes, I want to meet this Guru. He goes, and I feel blessed to meet a Sikh like you. That is what is prachar. That is the true way of spreading Guru Sahib's wisdom. When somebody looks at your truthful actions and they say to you, you are blessed, you are amazing. And you make them want your Guru. You make them want your Guru. And that's what Pumya Chor did. How blessed of a Gursikh was he? He met Guru Nanak once. And I'll just finish off with translating that Pangati. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pachi Pangati, where Guru Sahib Ji says, Gur ka bachan, Guru's words that are given to us. Gur ka bachan basse ji nale. Ji means with the breath of my life. I take what my Guru says to me and I hold it in my breath. That I remember it at all times. Ji nale, with my breath. Then Guru Sahib Ji says that Gur ka bachan base ji nale, jal nahi doobe. Jal, there's no ocean in this world that can take your teachings away from me. What does that mean? What happens in the ocean? When waves come in the ocean, what are the waves? The waves are when I have times of suffering. Because when we're challenged and difficult times come in our life, that's when we start to waver and fall. But it means no matter what wave comes in my life, I'm still not going to waver away from what you have given me, Guru Sahib. Jal nahi doobe, taskar nahi leve. And then when the wave goes down, when everything's going all good for me, I'm still not going to forget you. I'm still going to remember you during that time as well. Je sukh dehe ta tujhe aradi, dukh pi tujhe tyai. Je phukh dehe ta itihi raja, dukh vich sukh manai. He says, Pahe na sake jale, taskar nahi leve. Taskar means a chor, a thief. There's no thief now in this world that can rob this bachan, that what you have given me, O Guru Nanak, away from me. Meaning there's no calm, there's no desires, there's no krodh, there's no anger. Lobh, there's no greed, there's no more, there's no attachment, there's no ego that I'm going to let rob this bachan away from me. Pahena sake jale, there's no fire in this world that can burn what you have given. There's no fire of trishna, of desires, of these wants, of wanting this, wanting that. A desire is not, desire doesn't mean when we need something practically and logically in life and we try and obtain that thing. A desire is when we'll even cheat to get that thing. A desire is when we'll just trample anybody in our way to get that thing. A desire is when we want more and more of that thing. A desire is when we'll do anything to get that thing, and even if it means to go outside of truthful living. When something's burning us, when something's not letting us focus. That's what Bhumiya Chor was. Sat thal vich tin vastu payo. If we follow Guru Sahib Ji, Guru Sahib Ji will show us truthful living. When we live truthfully, our hearts will be filled with contentment. When we're living untruthfully, when we're lying with this tongue, when we're slandering with this tongue, never are we going to be able to find contentment in our lives. Sat Santokh, only when we find contentment in our life. Sev kiti santokhi, jini sacho sach tyaya. Guru Sahib Ji saying, what happens when we become content? When our senses aren't running so crazy, when our eyes aren't just burning in lust, when our ears aren't burning and just wanting more and more slander, when they come in control, that means santokh. Santokh means when my ears are now content, when my ears don't want no more slander, don't want no more lies, when my eyes are content, don't want to look with a lustful eye anymore. That's what it means to be content. What's going to happen next? Sat Santokh Vicharo. What does Vicharo mean? Deep contemplation will come from being content. Deep contemplation means when I go so deep inside of myself, I realize my true self, that I'm an Atma. That I'm not a body, I'm not a mind. I am, Kaho Kabir Eo Ram Ki Ans, I am. My true origin is Vaheguru Ji, I am Paramatma Zaroop. That's what Vicharo means here. Vicharo means deep contemplation, when you realize yourself. Amrit Naam Thakur Ka Peo. That is true Naam. Amrit Naam Thakur Ka Peo. True Naam, true Amrit is self-realization. That is when we're drinking true Amrit inside of ourselves. Antar Khuta Amrit Parya. Sabde Kaad Piye Panhari. And how do we get to that true Amrit inside? That self-realization that I'm an Atma, when we drink that nectar inside, when we're in this complete bliss, Shabde Kaad, we take that Amrit out with Shabad, the Guru's teachings. From Sat. Guru's teachings, meaning living truthfully, then contentment, then Vicharo, then self-realization. Sat Santokh Vicharo Amrit Naam Thakur Ka Peo Jis Ka Sabs Adaro. That Naam is the true Adaro, the true support of ourself. Jiska Sabs Adaro. Je ko khave, those that drink this Naam, that Naam meaning that connection, those that have that absolute amazing connection with Akal Purkh, it's like drinking this beautiful sweet drink inside. Je ko khave, who eats that, Remember, Guru Sahib is talking about Amrit. Amrit is liquid form. But then this says, Jeko khave. We don't eat Amrit, do we? So whoever's actually taken Amrit, we drink Amrit. Why is Guru Sahib saying, eat Amrit? Ever thought about this? We read this every day, don't we? Guru Sahib says, Jeko khave. We don't eat Amrit. They're talking about something liquid, but then they're saying, eat. Why? Anyone? Why is Guru Sahib Ji making us eat something that's liquid, that we're meant to drink? Why didn't the Guru Sahib Ji say, Jeko pive? Why did he say, Jeko khave?
You enjoy it, is it?
That's it, Virji. Because khave means, you know when you got solid food and you chew it so much that you make it into liquid. When you've got something liquid, which is Amrit, you drink it so slowly when you're taking the absolute ras from it. Even if you try this, go downstairs now and drink water, but don't just gulp it down, and drink water consciously and slowly. It will feel as if something solid is going down. You'll feel every part of that water going through you. It will feel like as if you're eating something, meaning you're taking the full ras, the full juice out of something. Guru said, Jeko khave. Not the way we read Bani, just unconsciously and totally asleep. Guru Sahib Ji says, awaken and take this down like this. Jeko khave, jeko punche. Punche means to enjoy something. It means when you actually digest something. We only enjoy food that we've eaten when it digests, not when it comes back up. Not if we throw it back up. Not if we're bloated. We'll say, Changa khadda. ਸੀਗਾ ਤਾਂ ਸਵਾਦ ਵਿਆਹ ਤਾਂ ਬੜਾ ਆਨੰਦ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਾਂ ਮਾਣਿਆ ਪਰ ਹੁਣ ਢਿੱਡ ਆਪੜਿਆ ਪਿਆ ਆ ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਣਾ ਕਾਹਦਾ ਖਾਦਾ you will say what was the point of eating it enjoying means digesting it taking the Guru's wisdom in means not having ego for following the Guru's wisdom. That's what it means to enjoy and digest it. Jeko khave jeko punche tiska hoye udaro. Udaro means those will be saved that don't have ego for following the Guru.